All the ring-shaped foods appropriate for this comparison appear to be derivatives of Cheerios and SpaghettiOs, so I guess this time it's Paramount's fried calamari. I would have thought 4 years was enough time to build enough clout to warrant this long-ass Marvel-style logo, and that DC was just exceptionally bad at it. But not you too, Sega! In case you confused it with the Lonely Islands, Japan.
I already ate all the Boston cream. Kyle?
That popsicle hasn't moved in 50 years.
And yet he will conveniently start moving again immediately after this statement because convenience.
Is that normal?
For a movie based on a video game to be this wildly successful both in box office and critical acclaim? No, it's not. And I can't figure out why we're making this film the exception. Chris, was glass really the best choice for this tank? You know, on the off chance he did wake up. Do the alien hedgehogs just wake up ready to zoom all over the place and kick ass? I usually have to sit in bed for a good 30 minutes before I can even move, and that's after only a few hours sleep. Shadow's been asleep for a lot longer than that. Too much pupil, or maybe too much sclera. You know what? It's just too much eye, and I let it slide for the past 2 movies. The line must be drawn. Yeah.
Don't worry, little sibling rivalry is healthy. Me and my brothers used to do this kind of thing all the time.
Tom, your brothers are lunatics, and neither of them were born with the power to trigger a global cataclysmic event.
We're going to find out in a moment that this was all a ruse to distract Sonic while they set up his surprise party. Yet this banter is going hard in a way that it feels more like the goal was to distract me while they set up the surprise party.
It's a bird! It's a plane!
It's cheating!
Happy B. Arthur Day?
Jeff Ross wouldn't laugh at that joke with B. Arthur's
This is your...
Yep, my old cave.
I can't believe this is where you lived all those years.
The convenience of the fact that they're conveniently camping by Sonic's old cave aside, why is Tom shocked to see the cave? In the first movie, Tom brought all of Sonic's things from the cave to his house so he could give Sonic his own room. Tom had to have been in this cave before.
That's the thing about life, Sonic. It's all about the choices we make. As long as you remember to listen to your heart, you're gonna make the right choice when it matters the most.
You could have paired this misquoting of Roxette with a relevant situation where Sonic actually had to make a choice, instead of forcing it into a contrived heart-to-heart with only a thin contextual basis, so I know without a doubt that this line will come back to haunt me later in the movie. A close-up on this step rail is here, so I can point out that it is not there in the next shot. Those blades of this thing did not make it through the ring, and therefore neither should the helicopter.
Titanium handcuffs, completely indestructible.
If you can manufacture a thing, it has constituent parts and can't be completely indestructible, talking fox with 2 tails that I expected to have a stronger grasp of physics.
We're out of here.
I need to know when and why they choreographed this no-look jump that serves zero purpose outside of looking like a cool discount space jump from Abrams' Star Trek. Is your movie even in Japan if it doesn't feature Shibuya Crossing? Knuckles tosses this vehicle to the side without even checking to see if anyone is in it.
You're a colorful bunch.
That's racist. Is it more wrong that this motorcycle fits him, or that you can logic this into a sin about stereotyping Asian people? Hey, you did it, not me.
The more you talk, the harder I want to hit you.
Shadow speaks for everyone at CinemaSins. Trying to get brownie points because you think I Akira about this Akira slide.
This is a chow garden.
Restaurants that specialize in Easter eggs.
It begins over 50 years ago.
Another one, geez. Please don't tell me that half of this movie is going to play out in flashback.
A meteor crash in a quiet corner of Oklahoma.
Alien meteor crashes into a rural part of Middle America, Superman shade.
Shadow's power, his chaos energy, went far beyond any living creature.
And that is pretty much where we left it. Figured there was no need to better understand where this mystical energy comes from. And we're better off just juicing as much of it as we can out of the poor creatures so we could corner the market on the supply side.
The project leader was blamed for the incident and imprisoned.
But never searched well enough to find the glowy thing he clearly has in his hands.
So I had him placed into stasis, indefinitely.
As some kind of parody of Austin Powers parodying Demolition Man, because first and foremost, I'm a movie buff. Also, if Walters encountered Shadow 50 plus years ago, he shouldn't have been so flabbergasted by Sonic showing up in the first movie. And he's also a huge asshole for working with Ivo Robotnik and never once telling him that he had known his grandfather Gerald when he was younger. The script of this movie sacrificed Walter's memory to retcon in all these past events and will momentarily kill him off. God damn.
Konichi, what?
These drones are just letting this happen for some reason.
What is it?
A key to the most powerful weapon Gun has ever built. You're the only one I trust to keep it safe.
Wait, what? Oh, but seriously, what? Also, if Gun makes a gun, do they call it a gun? These are the questions I need this movie to answer.
Hold it right there, Tokyo Drift.
Scene does not contain a Lucas Black or a Shad Bow Wow Moss.
Please, join me in the crowd.
If you change the in to an and add an S to crab, you would have the phrasing my college girlfriend used right before our first sexual encounter. I was glad to find out she didn't mean we were mixing food with sex, because I'd never been a huge fan. However, I still don't know what she meant, or why my nether regions have been itching since that night. At some point in production, it was decided the movie needed a giant testicle robot that condiments. Also, eating the sour cream and guac on the outside of the burrito.
It's time for the dramatic soap opera twist.
Where you will turn into a jaguar like Marlena? Or maybe you'll reveal you're the Salem stalker? Or maybe you've got Casey, the freaking alien, tied up in the back of the crab? Oh, you're just gonna shave off your hair, aren't you?
It's okay. She's the professor's granddaughter. He takes her everywhere.
Not responding with, what about that means that I shouldn't do my f***ing job? Wearing shoes inside your Bacta tank. This bond that was forged in the fire of being in the same place at the same time will be enough to almost cause an apocalypse. So when Walters said a chaos energy that went far beyond any living creature, he didn't mean that it seems dangerous for a kid to be around. Kids. Emotionally broken character is reflected in literally broken glass. As if the universe feeds on pain and wants this hedgehog to be sad. The franchise has gone from the rings being a valuable commodity to them being a convenient, fast travel hack.
Yeah. Do you remember what happened last movie night?
What's the point of remembering anything if you're just gonna smash cut to it anyway? This licking Sonic's quill thing that was quirky and kind of fun in the first movie now feels like a serious addiction that's being played for a cheap laugh.
I'm your grandfather, Gerald Robotnik.
Thinking that the franchise needed to add more layers to the Dr. Robotnik storyline when it most definitely did not.
It's as if we're two characters in a movie being played by the same actor.
Further proof that Deadpool has ruined cinema.
Name the most elegant formula in mathematics. Euler's identity.
Mathematical beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and I prefer the Bourne identity.
European capitals arranged alphabetically by the fourth letter. Riga, Monaco, Sarajevo, Tirana.
Even if you were going with just the A's, which wasn't explicit, you left out Budapest.
The speed of light divided by the speed of sound divided by the speed of the bus in the movie speed. 17,893.333.
The speed of the bus and speed was mostly above 50 miles an hour, but it varied wildly until it ultimately blew up and went to zero. Since you didn't say the average speed of the bus in speed, this question will be sin for lacking specificity.
A rare lung disease. And the longest word in the English dictionary. Numino-ultramicroscopic silicovolcanoconiosis.
Making one of my writers want to hear me struggle to pronounce numinol truth macroscopic silicovanovelosis. I hate you, Daniel.
Double your villains, double your fun.
Math.
Two Robotniks are way worse than one.
Agreed.
Capable of delivering a precision strike anywhere on Earth.
This is essentially a super laser without a Death Star. It's all no ball.
This is one of two keys required to launch the Eclipse cannon.
I'll admit that having two keys required to work this thing is safer than one, but 1,000,000% of movies do this just to build tension around the race to collect both keys.
And you wonder why I have trust issues.
Wait, you put your faith in Tom, Maddie, and Tails pretty quick, and then you built trust with Knuckles after he stopped trying to kill you. It all seemed relatively healthy. I fail to see where your trust issues are, and I'm beginning to think you just thought this line was funny. And then I'm taking a talking hedgehog too seriously.
I've spent 50 years reliving what they did to her. This is who I am inside.
Shadow chooses to play the pronoun game to explain his motivations, with 3 aliens he just met and have zero clue who her is.
Sonic, try to reach one of my rings!
There have been rings available this entire time, and they're just now choosing to use them?
Somebody better call Google Maps.
People, or hedgehogs, who still use Google Maps. Waze is the way, Sonic. Waze is the goddamn way.
There's nothing we can't destroy together.
Democracy.
How would you choose to spend one perfect day with your new grandpal?
No one will be seated while the story gets derailed, so Jim Carrey can make the I'm My Own Grandpa music video no one asked for.
The Master Emerald is too powerful to ever use again.
Oh, f*** you for revealing a key element of the third act just because there isn't a valid reason you don't use the infinitesimal stones all the time. Sonic the Hedgehog 3 clearly attended the Russo Brothers Academy for making location titles.
Revenge guac.
Guac should only ever be made with love.
I have taken my perch atop the giant
Damn, Knuckles, you need to chill. I'm kidding, he said clock, but they don't call it Big Ben for nothing.
Do you want me to get ultra nasty? Nasty?
Whatever this is, works. Since Randall actually works for Gunn, then why did Tom and Maddie go back to just being Tom and Maddie?
Little trick from the 90s.
I mean, best decade ever.
Sure, other than the AIDS epidemic, the tail end of the crack epidemic, the LA riots, slap bracelets, Beanie Babies, and TGIF's Teen Angel, yeah, it was great.
The Robotniks have entered the chat.
There is no discussion going on in which you now plan to contribute. I find your use of this phrase to be confoundingly without merit.
I guess someone forgot to flush.
Tails just straight up tries to murder Shadow and Agent Stone.
I designed these suits to create a field of laser-bending thermal distortion.
So did Robotnik just create suits for all possible life encounters? I would love to see the suit that is useful in situations where your raft is about to go over the waterfall while a cocaine bear is chasing you down and your mother is sitting next to you on the raft nagging the f*** out of you as if that's helping.
I designed these suits to create a field of laser-bending thermal distortion.
The laser-bending thermal distortion must also politely ask the lasers to avoid your head. This whole dance sequence is a great example of why Jim Carrey's The Robotniks is both the best thing about this movie and a big part of why it's not very good. Whenever he's on screen, there's never any shortage of entertainment, but it overwhelms the story and we miss out on getting more of Shadow, who is a very good and compelling villain in his own right. Basically a Bane. They baned him.
Look at me, I'm running on the wrong side of the road.
England.
Well, I gotta take in the sights.
Sure, but you just said...
We're out of time.
Nice job undercutting your own urgency to the point where I no longer care whether or not your plan works.
They're planning on stealing the second key just like you are? Yes, I'm aware.
So now that I have thwarted your attempts, I will remove the key like a villain instead of putting you all in prison.
You know, there might be one other way out.
Even though Rockwell has a villainy vibe, Sonic should know now that Gerald was the one that broke out Shadow. What exactly is his reason for not trusting Rockwell after she successfully stopped the Robotniks? Or at the very least, he could let her finish taking them into custody before calling in Knuckles to almost get everyone killed. So Knuckles and his 1,000,000% of muscle can blast through the barrier? Why was that not the plan all along?
Oh, whoa!
The physics of this room were pretty simple a moment ago. When you were over a green tile, you would float, and when you were over a red tile, you would be pulled to the ground. But now Knuckles is just doing whatever he wants like he's Neo or some shit. And then there are these two assholes who are going to worm their way across all these red ones instead of taking a faster, longer path not on the red tiles. I swear this kind of bullshit is why we all sit in traffic.
We got what we came for.
Which makes me ask the question, why does Shadow still need the Robotniks? He's perfectly capable of taking care of himself, much better than either of them are. Why did he come back to help them?
So where's your little science project? It's closer than you think, my boy.
You could have just said it's in the Thames. It isn't much of a surprise, and it's right next to the building, so it's not even that clever of a hiding spot. It's actually super obvious. Okay, after seeing this big-ass glass-bottom murder ship that was hidden under a body of water and controlled by MacGuffin circuit boards, I can confirm this is basically the same thing as Captain America the Winter Soldier, except it's in London. So Captain Britain the gloomy rainy day soldier. Wait, why are all these regular-looking cops being so casual right now? They should be flipping their shit after seeing concrete evidence that aliens exist.
Part of our oath is to trust each other, and I must abide by that promise, even if you have chosen to break it.
What? Thank God Knuckles is not a lawyer.
Okay, wait. All comes down to this.
Waiting up your movie 1 hour and 14 minutes in.
Excuse me, Grand Paso Doble. What is that thermonuclear gerbil doing?
Recreating the end of Superman the movie? I mean, I hope that's the case. It wouldn't be original, but it would at least be interesting, which the last hour and 18 minutes have not been. The Robotniks survived this.
You hurt my family. This ends now.
They are talking in space. Also, just because they are aliens doesn't mean they can automatically just roam around in space with no gear on. Whatever planet they are from was clearly similar to Earth's atmosphere.
Show yourself, coward!
At what point has Sonic perceived Shadow to be anything remotely like a coward? At least make your diss wordplay truthful. It hurts more that way.
You were right about one thing. This ends now.
Yeah, I checked the runtime, Shadow. You might not be a coward, but you are a fucking liar.
I haven't seen that since I hate-watched Green Lantern in 2011.
Well, damn. I thought we were well past this point in history and had moved on to the part when people start telling me it's an underrated movie and for all its flaws, Ryan Reynolds is still entertaining. I mean, none of that is true, but people are going to say it anyway.
I was saving it for Comic-Con, but now there won't be a Comic-Con!
Listen, if there is one thing the history of the interweb has taught us, it's that nerds will not be contained. Nerds break free. They expand to new territories and crash through barriers. Painfully, maybe even dangerously, but, well, there it is. I'm simply saying that, Comic-Con finds a way. They are breathing in space.
I'm right here!
Shadow points to where his lungs are, and Sonic is reminded of the conversation he had with Tom earlier. All I can think of is that they might as well have both had moms named Martha. Was he holding on to Shadow's nipple? Dramatically timed astronomical dawns.
The light shines, even though the star is gone.
Dramatically timed astronomical callbacks.
Don't tell me you've got a catchphrase.
That's right, new Hedgehog. And everyone loves it.
Citation needed.
Who said life was pointless?
For Dr. Robotnik, life is at the very least invincible, since he should have been fucking dead from falling into fucking outer space with no kind of breathing apparatus. Non-consensual sodocotomy. For as many should have died but didn't instances in this movie, there's also quite a bit of murder for a kids movie. At least for a kids movie that wasn't released in the 1980s.
We gotta stop that laser!
I knew there was something I was forgetting.
We already pointed out how pointless bringing Robotnik back was. However, if he's being put in the movie, at the very least, don't turn this into another major antagonist for most of the franchise becomes a protagonist in the newest entry cliche. We don't need another Fast and Furious, guys. We already got 10 too many.
So this was your plan?
I know, right? It's almost as if the title character of this franchise is by far the most incompetent. I think Wade would have come up with a better plan.
This is Dr. Ivo Robotnik, dedicating my final live stream to one very special henchman, Agent Stone.
Robotnik not only is able to conveniently live stream on the side of a building, but also the exact building that Agent Stone is standing in front of. And I now conveniently hate the out of this movie.
Stone, you were more than a sycophant to me. You were a sickle friend.
Robotnik has shown Agent Stone absolutely nothing but disgust and has mostly ignored him for 3 movies. However, we're supposed to believe in this moment he now respects him, and I did not believe you, movie. Wait, how did Tails and Sonic enter Earth's atmosphere without disintegrating? How the f*** are any of these assholes still alive? Knuckles saves them so easily at the last second, I have to wonder why didn't he go after Sonic in the first place? Seriously, Tails is obviously more of a tech genius, person in the chair type, and Knuckles is 100% beef or whatever. That whole throwing Tails like a baseball thing never made sense. How exactly does going through the ring lessen the impact on the ground? These fuckers fell from outer space.
Now that's what I call teamwork.
No, that's what I call diabetes.
It's great to be back together.
We're stronger than ever.
And nothing is gonna stand in our way.
Misquoting Starship.
All right, boys, try and keep up.
Nothing like ending your movie on a race between CGI characters where we have zero clue who even has the advantage. So I guess they're setting up Metal Sonic as a big bad for Sonic 4, but that's a little confusing. Robotnik created Metal Sonic in the games, and he's dead. Although, let's be honest, there's no way in fucking hell he's actually dead. But he is presumably enough on the good side of the Force to not go all robotic army on Sonic. But hey, 3 years, I guess we'll have our answer to the question that most of us will forget was asked. Thinking Amy Rose and Shadow's hand would distract me from this big fucked up Bruce Almighty moon.
Look like me? You, of all people, should know I would never in my life wear black silk underwear.
Did you hear that, boys?
If this is your first night at Fight Club, you have to fight.
2024? I've been trapped for 50 years?
I don't know. I just work here.
Aliens.
Aliens? Excuse me?
I just thought the sequel was better.
It begins over 50 years ago with a meteor crash in a quiet corner of Oklahoma.
Oh, you done it now, Jordy Verrill? You monkhead.
The meteorite contained a life form.
We called him Baba Yaga.
Shadow was a loose end no one knew how to deal with.
One of God's own prototypes. A high-powered mutant of some kind never even considered for mass production.
I have fallen in love with another.
Football is life.
But the resemblance is uncanny. It's as if...
I'm my own grandpa.
My name is Randall, and I am too much to handle.
Don't make me spank you when I get back.
Ultima pasión can only belong to one.
No. Football is also death.
Stop right there, Robo-Scum.
You fail to realize that with your armor gone, my ship will tear through yours like tissue paper.
And what you fail to realize is my ship is dragging mines.
Hello, boys! I'm back! So, I guess there's only one thing left to say.
Holy Testicle Tuesday!